All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the Jets released their quote-unquote final 53-man roster, and it's weird, right? There's some weird things going on here. But in other words, this is not the end of roster moves that Joe Douglas and the Jets will make with one move that kind of gives it away. So let's just jump right into it with the Thomas Morstead situation. Obviously, Thomas Morstead is a really good punter. He's a veteran. The Jets only have one punter on their roster, and he's looked really good for the Jets throughout training camp and, of course, in preseason. And we look down, Thomas Morstead is released. So, of course, that's the first thing my mind jumped to. I'm like, what is going on here? What's the plan? But literally, Thomas Morstead tweeted something out about it himself, where he said, pretty much relax, the whole Aaron Rodgers, REL, AX type of thing, right? Everything will be fine. It's looking like, according to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, Morstead will be back with the team in the quote-unquote near future. So just some roster, manipulation here, if you will. I think the idea is to start the season or to put Carter Warren on the 53-man roster, and then once the season begins, putting him on IR and then bringing Morstead back. That's kind of what I was reading. So that's the Morstead situation. And then we look at corner, right? Corner is interesting because, of course, we have our three starters locked in DJ Reed, Michael Carter, and Sauce Gardner. But then behind those guys, I feel like there's a really big question mark. A week ago, to me, I felt like amazing about the position, but right now it's looking like pretty thin. So Brandon Echols, first and foremost, is suspended for week 1. Right, against the Buffalo Bills. So he's not technically on the 53, but he will get put on the 53 in time because the Jets defensive coaching staff really, really likes him. And also he's looked great in preseason so far. I'm excited. But outside of Echols, I thought Jimmy Moreland was going to make the roster. I thought he looked really, really good in preseason as well. He is a younger player, but has some nice regular season experience back for Washington. So I was thinking like, awesome, Moreland's, brought him in on a cheap contract. Really nice depth piece. But he was put on IR. I believe it was yesterday in the afternoon. And it's looking like he hurt his hand in the final preseason game against the Giants. So he's not going to be, sticking around. And then the attention gets turned to Bryce Hall, right? It's looking like Bryce Hall made the team or, at least made this final 53-man roster. I don't want to say by default here, but it does kind of feel like that to a certain degree because all of a sudden, Moreland is gone and Echols is suspended just that one game. It kind of makes you think, will the Jets maybe make a move at corner, add some depth, right? Bradley Roby was just cut from the Saints. Who else? Des King was cut from the Houston Texans. Maybe there's something in the works there. I think at this point, I probably doubt it, but who knows, right? Who knows? Next up, Nick Bodden did not make the team. He was released. I felt like there was a chance that Bodden could make the roster. He was actually on my 53-man roster prediction. I felt like Bodden, although he's a fullback, and the fullback is at the most exciting position in 2023, I completely get that. At least he can say, I am the best fullback on the roster, and any package that you want to roll out with the fullback out there, I can come in and do a better job than anybody else. Apparently, the Jets either A, didn't feel that way, and then B, they're not really going to be utilizing the fullback position all that much. At least to the point to where they can't justify Bodden being on the roster unless somehow he gets put, in the next 24 hours here, 48 hours, there's another roster move where he does make the team or he gets put on the practice squad. So interesting situation there. Tim Boyle is another name that did not make it. Now, I do think he will be back with the Jets. He will probably clear waivers. The one team I'm a bit interested in regards to Tim Boyle is the Lions, right? Boyle has spent time with the Lions. Nate Sudfeld, the Lions backup quarterback, just went down with an injury. Hendon Hooker, also not going to be around for the start of the season. They do have Jared Goff and Teddy Bridgewater, But it's like that third quarterback. Do they want to claim Boyle off of the Jets roster here? Maybe. I could see something like that panning out. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I feel like for the most part, like 90 to 95% of the roster, we already know what's going to happen. But for those last couple of fringe spots, it's like, you know, those are where the question marks lie, right? The Carter Warren situation, the Morstead situation. But I think in the end, Joe Douglas is going to do what's best for the team, obviously. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.